because as I'm reading the article, I'm like, well, that's what's wrong in society today. But let's get into it. So the headline was How Mark Zuckerberg is Flipping the Script on Kids' Safety Online. So basically, what happened is Mark Zuckerberg, he's probably paying lobbyists to go around Washington and basically get these, uh, representatives, Speaker of Houses, and all this other stuff to get on board with him, right? Because he proposes that the real issue with kids' safety online is Apple and Google, not Meta. No, 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 not Meta, not Facebook, not Instagram. No, it's Apple and Google. So what he proposes that they look into in-app like security measures so kids can't purchase apps or purchase, like if they have what's the new thing? Roblox, like if they have Roblox or something like that, they can't use their parents' credit card to purchase things on these apps or purchase apps itself. That's what he claims is a really big issue. So right now in Washington, he's flooding them with all these different ads that speak to the dangers of kids having the opportunity to do in-app purchases. Now, let me tell you, does it happen? Yes. Is it more dangerous than kids being on Facebook and Instagram? Let's be honest here, Mark. Let's be honest, okay? Don't think so. All right. Any person with common sense would be like, that doesn't seem to even equal out to each other. Because, for one thing, with in app purchases or having your parents' phone or kids having an iPad, you can simply just remove the card. Like, you can simply just remove the card off your phone and that's that. You know what I mean? A lot of people, yes, we do use Apple Pay and things like that, and it is super convenient. But if it's getting to the point where now it's thousands of dollars and it feels like it's something out of control, hopefully parents have the smarts to say, hey, let me delete this card offer here and set it up some way differently, directly through the site or what have you. Let me just take it off my phone so it's not as easy. You also can put a password on it. Like, there are things you can do to prevent, random in-app purchases. Like on my phone, no matter what, anytime you want to purchase something, it's going to ask you for my iCloud password, not just my phone password. Because some people, they'll just do their PIN. And then, of course, if your kid knows your PIN, they can just pop your PIN in and be done. But like, this requires my iCloud password. So I don't understand how he feels the two are equal. I don't think he thinks it is. I think it's more of deflection to be like, hey, don't really look at what I got going on over here. Focus on what my rivals have going on because these kids are running up a bag on their parents' credit card. And what I found interesting was, according to Ava Smithing, she's a director of advocacy and operations at Youth People's Alliance. This is what she stated. So they're doing a very good job, they being Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, are doing a very good job distracting from any legislation that would hold them accountable. She hit the nail on the head with that one. Meta does not want to be held accountable. And at first, which was so funny, is that under Biden, right? He was under attack. So he, and in that in between period of when it was like Trump's going out and Biden's going in, he was basically under attack. They were saying he rigged the election. He was doing all this censorship and like he was kind of flowing with the left and trying to, I guess you could say, like, lock down on what was going on social media. So you were seeing things about like, oh, this might be fake news, this hasn't been confirmed and all these other things, right? And people pages were being taken down and you were being blocked or banned and all these different things. And that was because the left was going to hold him accountable for the things they were doing. Like, we know about your algorithm, we know what you're doing, we know how you're targeting people. We know how you're, persuading the public through ads and all of this different stuff. Like, we see it and we know, and we're calling you to the carpet, right? And he had all those God, I don't even know what they were called, but where he sat down in front of people and he had to do all of the things, right? So now it's interesting that we have Trump in office, and now it's like, okay, cool. I don't have to be held accountable. So focus on somebody else, see what they got going on because they're crazy over there. And yeah, let me get back to what I was doing before because not for nothing with the way Meta is set up and with the way Instagram is set up, if he can distract them and deflect and turn them away from what he has going on, he can get back to it, and he was making money. Again, we know how successful and how wealthy Mark Zuckerberg is and was. He can get back to making his money without having to be held accountable for the damage those sites are doing, especially to children. He can do whatever he wants. He can, create the algorithm, frame the algorithm however he would like without anyone coming to check in. So this is very interesting that now he's trying to get them to look at Apple and Google. And it's like, kids don't even focus. They have an Apple iPhone. Great. They really don't even use Google. Now we got AI into the mix. So they're definitely not like rushing to Google. So what exactly is it that you're saying, Mark? Like I'm all types of, confusion. And so as I'm reading this article, it goes on to say that, now their highest priority, I keep hitting this microphone. Now their highest priority is this in-app purchase bill to, basically crack down on kids purchasing apps and spending their parents' money. Blows my mind. Here's where it gets even more interesting. So proposed in, I believe it was last July, or it was voted down in last July. It was the Kids Online Safety Act, also known as KOSA. I'm just going to say KOSA, right? So last July, KOSA was introduced. Most of legislation voted on it and said, cool, we love this, let's get this enacted. When it came to House Speaker Mike Johnson, he declined to bring it forward. He was like, nah, I don't know, don't totally love it, don't really see what the dangers are. Then he said, along with Meta, KOSA would violate the First Amendment and lead to online censorship. Cool. So we don't want to monitor what the kids are doing online. We don't want to make sure that these apps, I feel like, especially with Meta, let's just at the bare minimum make sure they're ethical and moral. Like, let's just make sure it's that. You know what I mean? Because half the time it ain't ethical, it ain't moral, and it's pretty bad and it's super super obvious. So I feel like at the bare minimum, especially when you have kids involved who are so impressionable and like curious and their minds are still developing, let's just make sure at the bare minimum it can be ethical and moral, and I don't think that's what's going to happen because now you have the right wing in office. Trump was parading around with Mark Zuckerberg, and it's like, oh, okay. I see what happens when big money is in play because why are we not focusing on what they got going on? Clearly, they're trying to hide something. They're trying to get people to not see what they're doing. And it's very concerning. It's concerning because as adults, we see the effect social media has on the people around us. So now we have to think, wow, if I'm 32 and social media got people in my age range acting like this, I can't imagine what it's doing to the children. I can't imagine. If a 32-year-old, 34, 35, 36, 37, whatever, can't handle it, how do I think a child's going to handle this? And then the people who own it, legislation, who can at least put some parameters on it, are like, whoa, pump the brakes. This could violate First Amendment. This can violate, or restrict online censorship. I don't know. From what I read, Politico, they stand to believe that, legislation is going to kind of side with Meta and be like, all right, cool, we hear you. We understand what you got going on. And to me, it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible, terrible idea. I don't think you should give someone free range like that to just kind of woo you and kind of pull the wool over your eyes and have you not see what's actually going on because they simply want the money, right? That's what a lobbyist is. They go out, they campaign, they woo you, they do all these things so you kind of stick with their idea. And that's so bad. That's so awful. I won't say I will be following this because it's hella concerning. Like I would be so terrified to, have kids in a world where legislation is kind of like, we hear you, like, yeah, kids are, their minds are fucked right now. We hear you, we get it, but like also we won't do nothing about it. So it's real, real, real crazy. It's super crazy. And I stress that at the end of the day, this falls onto the parents. This falls into the laps of parents. It's you who has to make the decision how your child interacts with social media. A lot of people, when they have kids, the first thing they do, which I've seen across all races, all ages, they're going to make the child an Instagram. They're going to make the child a TikTok. They're going to do all of these things to put them out on social media, and it is bizarre. I said it and I'll say it again. I don't believe my kid will have social media till they are like, I mean, fully like, I want to say grown, but like, I know their thinking is pretty good. Like, that's when then I'll let them have it. I know kids sneak and they do things and that's fine. Kids are going to do that. But like with permission, you're going to be much older. You're going to be much older. Because the way it is now, it's absolutely insane. I feel like if your kid has an interest or has a personality because of course these kids are getting, rich and famous off of social media. So yes, if your kid has a personality, they want to be into social media or they want to be dancing or whatever, yeah, you'll do that through my platform. That's how that'll go. You'll do that through my platform. And when I'm ready for you to have a platform, then you'll have your own. But anything other than that, you can do through my platform. Thank you. I don't need you to have your own platform. And then, they have all these things, all these parental things and monitoring. Let's be real. Once you get that platform in your hands, it's not enough monitoring in the world to control what goes on because you as a parent can't beat the algorithm.